Guys, I'm not an AI doomer. I'm pro-AI. I think that AI is going to transform the world in a ton of different ways. I think there's a lot of great advantages to this technology, like reducing the cost of healthcare and education, manufacturing, transportation, making it so easy for people to create amazing entertainment like movies, shows, and video games. But that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the risks. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the risks. Risks like replacing jobs and mass confusion, misinformation. This year, Merriam-Webster's word of the year was slop. And I think there's a good reason for that. I think if you're on social media, you understand that. Guys, there could be an investment bubble that pops with all these companies spending money on each other and transferring money, an investment bubble, an AI tech bubble, the likes of which we haven't seen since the subprime mortgage crisis here in the United States. I think robots, this idea that robots could go rogue and AI could go rogue and destroy humanity and launch the nukes like in Mission Impossible or in iRobot, these are all real risks. It's not that I don't appreciate the chance of these happening. And frankly, over the last few months, I've seen a lot of comments because I know guys just like you have these types of concerns. And guys, I'm bringing a fresh video 6 days a week. If you like and subscribe, you can make sure that you're up to date on everything that's happening in this world. Of all these risks though, my biggest concern, and I've been consistent about this, is mass job displacement. Guys like you and me, we need work. We need it to be relevant, respected, and financially free. We need it to provide for our families. We need it to provide for our future, to prepare for what's next. We need to have relevancy. And if AI takes all our jobs and everyone gets put on UBI, I don't think that that's a positive for humanity. I really don't. And, over the weekend, I was listening to this podcast, the All In podcast, and David Sachs was saying there's no evidence of AI job loss. And I don't think that that's true. I don't think that's true. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I'll post a link to the video here, we covered the November job loss report from Challenger and Gray. And this is how they broke down the job losses. There were 1.17 million jobs cut in 2025. 315,000 were on the federal level due to the DOGE cuts. 245,000 were attributed to market conditions like demand and inflation. 128,000 due to restructuring. But 55,000 were attributed to AI. That's 55,000 jobs that were let go because of AI. And this is the worst that AI is ever going to get. It's only going to get better and more effective and more efficient. I mean, this idea that there's no AI job loss doesn't make sense to me. I mean, Mark Benioff at Salesforce, I cite frequently because he let go of half of his customer service staff, and he said specifically that was due to using AI agents. The proof is there. But at the same time, Vanguard just released their study, which I thought was interesting too. And I'll post a link to this video here. And what Vanguard said was that real wages for highly exposed AI jobs actually increased at 3.8% compared to 0.7% in other occupations. So if you're in an AI field and you've got a job, you're actually saving more money right now. Job growth increased in the highly exposed AI jobs at 1.7%. So you see a 1.7% growth in these highly exposed fields versus 0.8% job growth in other industries. So what does that say to me? Well, it says that there's some nuance here, guys. It says to me there's nuance. And one of the things that I've learned, by the way, when I started reporting on these firings, these job losses, these shifts in the market, data center construction, economic activity, how the government is regulating and not regulating. One of the things that I found very quickly is that I can trigger the YouTube algorithm by selling fear. People click on fear. I know that a video titled "Company X Fires Thousands" is going to perform far better than a video titled "Company X Hires Thousands," because people want to know what's happening. People are afraid. And I think there's valid reasons to that. I mean, I've seen a lot of posts for people saying, Mark, I graduated from college with a computer science degree. I graduated from MIT. I remember specifically someone said, I graduated from MIT with a university degree and I can't find a job. I've submitted 200 applications. I've had 16 follow-up interviews, and or 16 interviews, 2 follow-up interviews, still no job. That's real. Those are real numbers from a real human being on the channel. The reality is that I could trigger the algorithm by selling fear all day, every day. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to sell fear. I'm an optimist. I'm not an AI doomer. My vision for where the world is going has not changed. I think that AI is going to bring a lot of opportunity, but it also requires guys like us to step up and sound the alarm and say, things are changing quick. You got to prepare now. You can't bury your head in the sand. That is why I think it's so important that we cover the firings and the changes in the job market. I think that's why it's so important. You know what else I found out? I found out that blaming other people is powerful. Very powerful. If I post a video that says, you lost your job because of that guy over there, people will pay attention. They will share it. They will engage in the comments. I have found that to be true. And it's kind of shocking to me that I'm 42 and I haven't recognized how powerful this type of messaging is until now. Just brings me back a few years to an old South Park show where everybody in the town goes crazy saying, they took our jobs, they took our jobs. There is so much truth to that. Furthermore, you see, back in the 19th century, people like Hitler rose to power. Why? Or in the 20th century, why? Because they blamed everything on the Jews. It's the Jews' fault. It's not your fault. The reason your life is so bad is because of those guys over there. It's powerful. We even see it in socialism and in communism. Your problems are not yours. It's not your fault you have problems. It's because of the rich guys. The rich guys are the ones. It's their fault. It's very powerful. But I don't want to stoke fear. I don't want to stoke anxiety. And I certainly don't want to split people apart. I know how powerful it is. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to sell out. I don't want to sell out my morals and in the way that I feel about things and sell out my beliefs because of views and because it would bring in quick cash infusion. I don't want to do it. I know if I came out on these wild stances about how AI is going to completely destroy the job market, my channel would grow faster. And there would be tons of people angry and upset and saying no data centers and no AI and shut it all down. But I don't want to do that. I've seen the comments, I've seen the fear, I've seen the anger. But that's not who I am. And I can see why people sell out. I can see why people online take these wild stances like women shouldn't vote. And, and I also see the other side where we should believe all women. And, the reality is that taking a really hard, extreme stance online is a way to go viral. It's a way to push a narrative. And we are seeing that happen in real time. I don't want to go too deep on this, but it's really disturbing to me how many people blame the Jews for everything. It is not right, guys. And I'm not saying that there's not a sliver of truth. This is how things get sold. I remember, I'm going to tell you a couple quick stories here. When I was younger, fresh out of high school, I joined a pyramid scheme, a network marketing company, and it sold me because it was selling me on the power of the internet. The internet is powerful. People are booking more travel online. It was showing all these great statistics. And what was my conclusion? I need to be in the online travel business. I signed up, I wasted a couple $1,000, and then I was like, this is bunk, I'm getting out. And it doesn't just end there. I have a media production agency, and one of the things that I found working with a client earlier this year was that he wasn't getting real downloads on his show. What he was doing was paying bots to like and subscribe and to show fake downloads on his show so that he could go to sponsors and sell those fake views to sponsors to generate thousands and thousands of dollars. But that's not right. And by the way, probably some of your favorite podcasts do this. I refuse to do it. It's very alluring though. I understand the appeal. You want to fake it till you make it. but it never ends. I was invited to be on a podcast earlier this year, and as I was signing up for the podcast, it said it's $3,000 to be a guest on the show. When I went to investigate his show more, I went to his YouTube channel, a million subscribers on his YouTube channel. 1,000 views, 0 likes, 0 comments. It's all fake smoke and mirrors. It is so alluring to sell your soul for the cash. And again, and the reason I bring this up, guys, is because I know on this channel, if we sold fear, if we sold doomerism, if we sold AI is the end of humanity, we could get a lot of views, generate a lot of income. I could rile people up, maybe even run for a political office, maybe, who knows? But I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I understand why people fall into this trap. Now, I'm not going to do it. I am going to report when bad things happen, when mass layoffs happen. I'm going to do it because people need to know. When Amazon comes out and says, well, when Amazon has an internal leaked memo of their expectation that over the next 8 years, they're going to replace 600,000 jobs with robotics, I'm going to cover it because that's a big deal. And guys like you and me, we need to know why, because we need to adapt. And it's not just enough to shine a light on the problems. We have to shine a light on solutions. And that's what the channel is about. I'm not turning my back on the idea that AI is going to displace hundreds of millions of jobs. I believe that. I believe that. I believe a lot of people are going to be left behind. We're going to need to find problems for that. But my hope with the channel is that we can wake guys up, just like you, just like me, that we're not blaming others for the problems that we have, that we take control of the problems when we can, and we help others out when something happens that's outside of our control. This is fundamental, guys. It's fundamental. Regardless, I appreciate you being here on the channel, subscribing to the channel. I mean, my newsletter has done very well this year. It's got to do a lot better, but it's doing great, you know, because guys like you are signing up and they're learning, they're testing new tools, they're finding new opportunities. I talked to a guy earlier this year who I was able to line up a great job. He was able to get a job somewhere he wanted to work at. So I appreciate you being here, and I don't know where everything is going, but what I do know is that AI is going to fundamentally change the world. I know that I'm not going to sell out despite the allure. And I bring this up because there have been opportunities recently that have arose for me to sell out, but I'm not going to do it. I am going to find sponsors. I am going to find tools. I am going to find training. I am going to find opportunities in places where guys like you and me can thrive, but I'm not going to sell out. I'm not going to do it. Guys, thanks for being here on the channel. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for sharing the videos and engaging. I really appreciate you. I think 2026 is going to be the year of AI. 2025 was a warm-up. 2026 is going to be the year. We're going to see tons of movement. There's going to be lots of loss. There's going to be lots of opportunity in our job. My goal is to highlight the loss and the opportunity because it's going to be real. And I really think that we need more guys like you, like me, who are able to see through the nuance, that refuse to sell out, because lots of people are selling out right now and it's not cool, it is not right. I'm gonna get off my pedestal here. Again, appreciate you being on the channel. Make it a great Christmas, great holiday season, and I'll see you in the next video, boys. Peace.